How platforms turn brains into profit. Start with the business model. Platforms don't sell apps, they sell predictions of your future behavior. Attention becomes data, data trains models. Models predict what you'll click, share, watch, buy, or believe, and those predictions get sold to advertisers and pushed back into your feed. Tighter prediction equals more influence equals more revenue. That's the loop. Here's where most people get it wrong. Engagement sounds like you enjoyed it. In practice, engagement is a proxy for behavioral control. If I can keep you scrolling, delay your exit, raise arousal, and steer your next action, I've captured control. The metric hides the mechanism. This isn't old-school advertising, it's predictive behavior modeling. Instead of blasting a generic ad, the system learns your personal triggers. What time you're tired, which topics spike your dopamine, which faces or conflicts make you pause, and it rearranges your environment to exploit that. You're not browsing a neutral feed, the feed adapts to you in real time. Watch the feedback loop. You hover for 2 seconds, rewatch, or micro-like. That micro-reaction is a training signal. The algorithm tweaks what it shows next, inching toward whatever kept you a hair longer. Your behavior shapes the feed shapes your behavior. Multiply that millions of times per day and you've built a closed-loop attention machine. Why does this work? Because your brain prioritizes immediate rewards and social status signals. Novelty spikes dopamine. Social cues, likes, replies, read receipts, streaks, light up reward pathways and belonging circuitry. Established neuroscience shows the mesolimbic system drives wanting more than liking, so you can crave the next hit while enjoying it less. That's why sessions feel good during and hollow right after. Translate that to daily life. You wake up, tap notifications, and you're greeted with what you missed. Urgency on cue, then a mix, a joke, a mild outrage, a friend's highlight. Unpredictable rewards keep you hoping the next one will land. Each pause trains the system. 10 minutes disappear. You didn't choose 10 minutes, the loop chose for you. It's not just dopamine. Social comparison tightens the grip. Public counts, trending tags, blue checks, status markers. When your post pops, you check back more. When it flops, you still check because uncertainty is sticky. The brain prefers resolution over not knowing. Platforms lean hard on that tension. Now incentives. Time on device and average revenue per user reward designs that maximize minutes, not meaning. Remove a little friction, autoplay here, infinite scroll there, and dwell time jumps. Internally, that's a win. The hidden cost is regret. More time spent doesn't mean better time spent. It means the loop tightened. Small signals compound. A 2-second linger seems trivial, but at scale, trillions of micro-signals let models find edge patterns. You share more when slightly annoyed than when happy. You watch faster when anxious. You buy after 3 micro-loses followed by 1 small win. Optimization nudges you into those states and timing windows, not by conspiracy, by math. Here's the shortcut to spotting it. Follow the friction. Features that reduce friction to consume, autoplay, pull to refresh, swipe to next, increase the probability you'll stay. Features that increase friction to leave, are you sure prompts, delayed buttons, streak losses, keep you invested. If a feature removes a natural pause, like the end of a page, it's closing your exit ramp. So what? I'll just use it less. The problem is state-dependent control. In reward-seeking mode, you overvalue immediate stimuli and undervalue long-term goals. That's not a character flaw, that's how valuation shifts under dopamine drive. The interface meets you in that state and keeps you there. Willpower is the slowest tool in a high-speed environment. This clicked for me when I saw the lineage. Behaviorism in the 193s, 194s mapped reinforcement. Casinos turned it into variable ratio slot machines. Smartphones put a personalized Skinner box in your pocket. Your thumb is the lever. Variable social rewards are the pellets. The schedule is unpredictable and portable. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Engagement equals influence, and influence at scale equals profit. When success is measured by time captured, systems evolve to capture time. Every tactic we'll cover is a component of that machine. Now that you see the loop and incentives, the patterns become obvious and optional. Next, we'll open the slot machine hidden in every feed, variable reward schedules, and why maybe the next one is the most expensive thought on your phone. Tactic 1: Variable reward schedules, the slot machine in your pocket. Here's why the scroll feels so sticky. Unpredictable rewards create the strongest habit loops. In operant conditioning, variable ratio schedules keep behavior going because you don't know which pull pays. That uncertainty spikes dopamine more than predictable wins. Your phone turns that schedule into a never-ending loop. Sometimes you get a hilarious clip, sometimes a juicy DM, sometimes nothing. The not knowing is the hook. What does that look like in the wild? Intermittent likes, surprise follows, a For You feed that slips a jackpot video between 5 duds, loot box mechanics in games and e-commerce, mystery bundles, spin to win, surprise drops. Every once in a while you hit something that lands just right. Your brain encodes maybe the next one. That prediction error, expectation versus outcome, becomes gasoline. Now the interface makes the schedule effortless. Infinite scroll removes the stopping point where you decide to leave. Pull to refresh mimics a slot machine handle, a small physical ritual that invites the hope of a better outcome. Autoplay erases the moment you choose. Even the subtle bounce and refresh haptic is a mini reward. Your body learns the cadence of the pull and release. Here's the thing most people miss. You think you're choosing to continue. The schedule is choosing for you. Each micro-win reinforces the thumb movement. You start chasing streaks of small highs, even when the average experience is mediocre. This is why sessions run longer at night when you're tired. Lower cognitive control plus uncertainty equals more lever presses. Let me translate this to daily life. You're in line for coffee. You tap open, swipe, and boom, one perfect meme. That's the jackpot, then 3 lukewarm posts, then a notification flutter, 3 new likes. That intermittent reinforcement nudges you to check again before you even pay. By lunch, you've repeated this loop a dozen times, not because anything was urgent, but because the schedule rewarded the check often enough to wire it in. Why does variable work better than fixed? Predictable rewards teach your brain when to stop. Unpredictable rewards keep your prediction circuits spinning. Dopamine surges during anticipation, not just the reward, so your mind leans forward into the next unknown. That leaning is craving. Over time, you can want more while liking less. Now, common mistakes when fighting this. First, relying on willpower. In the moment, willpower is outgunned by a design tuned to milliseconds. Second, keeping just a few high salience notifications. That concentrates variability into the strongest cues. Third, promising yourself 1 more minute inside an infinite environment. With no natural endings, 1 more has no boundary. So how do you break the spell? You don't fight a variable schedule with try harder. You change the schedule. Step 1, collapse randomness. Batch notifications so they arrive at set times instead of random pings. That turns dozens of micro-uncertainties into one predictable check-in. Step 2, add friction at the trigger. Move high-stim apps off your home screen, remove badges, and require Face ID or a passcode to open them. A 2-second pause is often enough to wake up intention. Step 3, kill autoplay and remove pull to refresh wherever possible. Route your worst offenders through the web version. Most web UIs strip the haptics and glossy loops. Step 4, grayscale after a set hour. Color amplifies reward salience, gray lowers it. At night, when control is lowest, let the phone feel boring by design. Here's a micro story. A client was losing 2 hours nightly to the doom loop. We made 2 changes. Disabled autoplay across platforms and rerouted short-form video through desktop only. They paired that with batch notifications at noon and 6 p.m. in the first week. Usage dropped 35% without a single quitting promise. They didn't get superhuman, the jackpots got rarer. Let me show you the closure side. Variable schedules pair perfectly with missing stopping cues. Reintroduce endings. Watch long form on a TV where episodes end. Use playlists you curate, not the endless feed. If you're set on short bursts, set a physical timer for 10 minutes, then close the app from its home screen, not mid-clip. Ending on a clean screen prevents the Zygarnic itch of unfinished content. A quick win you can do today. Set messaging and social apps to deliver notifications only at 2 times. Turn off badges, disable autoplay everywhere, and flip your phone to grayscale after 8 p.m. That's 5 minutes of settings. Expect an itch at first. That itch isn't failure, it's your reward system recalibrating. Another overlooked move, rename your sandbox. Create a folder titled, "Do I really want this?" and park all variable reward apps inside. That one question interrupts the reflex and pushes the next action into conscious choice. You're not banning fun, you're choosing the schedule. Now you might be thinking, what about staying informed? Information isn't the problem, drip delivery is. Subscribe to one daily newsletter or check one curated source at a fixed time. The goal is predictable windows, not constant sampling. Predictability tames craving. Why this works, you're shifting from variable ratio reinforcement, most addictive, toward fixed interval or fixed ratio patterns your brain can anticipate. Anticipation without surprise lowers dopamine spikes, which lowers compulsive checking. Over days, baseline enjoyment rises, and the gap between wanting and liking shrinks. If you remember nothing else from this tactic, remember this: randomness is the product. When outcomes are uncertain, your attention pays the house edge. Make rewards predictable, raise friction at the gate, and bring back stopping cues. Once the slot machine loses its shine, comparison and status start to look like the real drivers. So next, we'll talk about social proof, status loops, and how FOMO keeps you checking. Tactic 2, social proof, status loops, and FOMO. Rewards hook you in, comparison keeps you circling. Belonging and rank are primal, your brain treats reputation like survival. So when platforms surface public metrics and social timers, they're not just informing you, they're training you. Likes, views, reshares, follow accounts, those are scoreboard numbers. Blue checks, trending tags, top 1% this week, status badges. Streaks and read receipts add deadlines to relationships. Together, they build a loop that's hard to put down. Here's the thing most people miss: envy beats joy for attention. Upward social comparison, seeing someone just ahead of you, pulls stronger than a peer's average day. You don't need full-blown jealousy. Micro comparisons work: a coworker's promotion post, a creator's milestone, a friend's vacation reel. Your mind runs a quiet ranking. Where do I stand? That question opens the app again. Now layer scarcity. 24-hour stories, expiring drops, only 2 left, offer ends in 3 minutes. Loss aversion means you'll work harder to avoid missing out than to gain the same thing later. Add a countdown and urgency becomes embodied. You're not choosing, the timer is choosing for you. That's why you can feel restless if you don't check in before a story vanishes. It's engineered FOMO. Let me show you the habit trap. You post, you wait, you check once, small high, you check again, nothing, slight sting. That variability tightens the behavior. While waiting, you scroll other wins to soothe uncertainty, which boosts comparison and spikes arousal. Now you post again to rebalance. That's the status loop: post, check, compare, repeat. It's operant conditioning wrapped in social clothing. The platform learns from you too. When you optimize for what gets numbers, hot takes, outrage, thirst traps, humble brags, you teach the algorithm to feed you more of the same. It's a two-way mirror. You adjust to the metric, and the metric adjusts to you. Over time, identity drifts toward what performs, not what aligns. That drift is subtle until you feel oddly anxious when a post underperforms. Common mistakes make it worse. 1. Chasing metrics for feedback. Metrics are a distorted map. Ranking systems overweight novelty, conflict, and recency. 2. Keeping red receipts for accountability. That creates obligation ping-pong. You're tethered to other people's clocks. 3. Following high-envy accounts for inspiration. For many, that's fuel for compulsive checking and a lower mood baseline. So what actually works? Remove social timers and hide the scoreboard where you can. Most major platforms let you hide like counts on your posts and your feed. Use it. Turn off read receipts and active now indicators. Kill streak prompts. Mute suggested for you carousels if possible. You're not going antisocial, you're de-gamifying. 5-minute audit you can run today. Ask which cues make me check compulsively. Likely culprits, unread badges, typing bubbles, seen labels, streak icons, pinned follow accounts. Strip those first, then curate your inputs. Mute accounts that reliably trigger envy spikes or outrage spirals. Replace them with process-forward creators who share how they work, not just polished highlights. Your emotional state is a feed, curate it too. Let me give you a micro story. A client kept losing mornings to status loops, post at 8:30, refresh until 10:00. We removed raid receipts, hid like counts, and set a simple rule: no posting before noon. Analytics only at 4:30 on Tuesdays and Fridays. In 10 days, morning checks dropped 60% and mood steadied before lunch. Same job, fewer social timers. You might be thinking, but I need metrics to grow. True, at the right altitude. Review patterns weekly, not hourly. Ask, which topics created meaningful replies from the people I want to serve? Where did viewers drop for clarity reasons, not shock value? Decide one experiment for the next cycle. That's learning, not chasing. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Add intention gates to social. Move apps into a folder labeled intentional social. When you open it, ask, connect or compare. If the answers compare, close it. Also, schedule social windows, 2 or 3 per day, and fully close apps between them. End each window with a closure ritual. Reply, schedule, archive, unsubscribe. Leaving on a home screen reduces the Zygarnic itch that fuels one more peak. For messaging, design boundaries that don't break relationships. Turn off read receipts. Set status lines like replying after 1 p.m., whitelist true emergencies, and let everything else fit your cadence. You're not ignoring people. You're removing invisible deadlines from everyday conversation. Why this works: relatedness needs depth, not displays. A 10-minute voice note with a friend outperforms 10 streaks for well-being. Small group chats, calls, plans, these satisfy the social brain without stoking the scoreboard. When you mute timers and hide public counts, the urge to refresh shrinks because uncertainty shrinks. Quick wins to try: hide like counts globally, disable read receipts, mute active now, and set 2 messaging windows. Move social apps off your home screen. Replace one daily scroll with a deliberate reach out. Voice note, invite, or thank you. That swap upgrades status loops into actual connection. If you remember nothing else, remember this: social proof should be a compass, not a ruler. Use it to find people and ideas, not to measure your worth. When the app hands you a countdown, decline the deadline. With comparison quieter, the next tug you'll notice is unfinished threads, and that open loop tension is the next trap we'll close. Tactic 3: Zygarnic effect and open loops. Now we hit the tension engine. Your brain hates incompletion. When a task starts but doesn't finish, it creates a mental itch, cognitive tension that keeps it active in working memory. That's the Zygarnic effect in plain terms. It was first described in 1927 by psychologist Bloomer Zygarnic after noticing waiters remembered unpaid orders but forgot them once paid. The core insight: unfinished equals unforgettable, at least for a while. Online, that tension gets industrialized. Half reveals and cliffhangers. Part 1 ends right before payoff. Read more truncates the point behind a tap. Notifications dangle quests. 3 new comments: you were mentioned, someone replied. Watch next chains promise resolution in the next clip, then the next. Even typing bubbles create social suspense. You saw the dots, now you need to know what they wrote. The loop feeds on curiosity without closure. Here's the thing most people miss: one quick check doesn't reduce the tension, it resets it. Every partial glance starts the loop again. You close the app carrying more open threads than you had going in. That's why quick checks feel mentally noisy. You multiplied unfinished business instead of finishing anything. It's not that you're distractible, you're carrying cognitive tabs the interface keeps opening. Why does this work so reliably? Because open loops hijack prioritization. Your brain ranks unfinished goals as urgent even when they're trivial. A spoiler tease, an unresolved debate, a coming soon preview. These leapfrog your actual priorities because incompletion rings louder than importance. The app doesn't need to be fascinating, it only needs to be unresolved. That's enough to steal a slice of your working memory. Let me show you exactly how creators lean into this. In short form, micro-conflict every few seconds. Pose a question, cut away before answering, seed a contradiction, promise the secret at the end. In feeds, withhold the key detail behind a comment or tap. Step 4 is the game changer, buried behind engagement. In messaging, stagger responses to keep the thread alive. Across formats, the same goal. Prolong tension, delay closure, keep you cycling. Now here's where most people mess up their defense. They try to finish everything before logging off. That closer mindset is the trap. Feeds are bottomless. Social threads are asynchronous. New notifications arrive faster than you can clear them. The harder you chase zero, the more loops you open. You can't outsprint an infinite conveyor belt. The shortcut nobody teaches is intentional closure. End every session with 3 moves. Declare done, capture next, close context. Declare done. Literally say, I'm done for now, and exit from the app's home screen, not mid-thread or mid-clip. Capture next. Write the one unresolved item you actually care about in your system, notes, calendar, or task list, with a concrete next step. Close context. Switch to a neutral screen, home or lock. Then do a palate cleanser. Stand, stretch, sip water. You're teaching your brain that loops don't close inside the app. They close when you decide. Let me give you an example you can try today. Schedule 2 inbox processing blocks, say 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. for DMs, comments, and email. Outside those windows, turn off badges and previews. During the block, triage into 4 buckets. Reply now, schedule later, archive, unsubscribe, mute. Anything over 2 minutes gets scheduled, not half done. When the block ends, run the closure ritual. You'll notice your mind feels quieter in the gaps because it trusts that real closure is coming at a set time. Common mistakes to avoid: leaving apps on a cliffhanger screen, half-composed reply, paused reel, which guarantees itch, swiping away notifications without addressing or scheduling them, which keeps the alarm active in memory, mixing entertainment and tasks in one session, which blends professional and social loops into one knot, and checking for peace of mind, which usually multiplies open threads. A quick micro story. A client felt mentally full by mid-afternoon daily. We added 2 20-minute processing windows and enforced exit from home screen. Within a week, they reported fewer phantom checks and easier re-entry into deep work. They didn't quit apps, they quit incomplete usage. Let me show you a fast diagnostic. After a 15-minute scroll, ask, can I list 3 finished items? If you can't, you are loop grazing. Loop grazing builds tension without payoff. Replace it with deliberate sessions that end on a completed step, finished message, saved note, scheduled next action. You might be thinking, won't I miss something urgent? Emergencies are rare. Urgency is often manufactured by design. Whitelist true emergencies, specific people or channels to break through. Everything else fits your cadence. That boundary shrinks artificial tension and lets real priorities stand out. One more technique, the end-of-day loop list. 3 columns, open, parked, closed. Open, the few incomplete items that truly matter tomorrow. Parked, items captured with a date and next step. Closed, loops finished today. Seeing a growing, closed column gives your brain visible closure, which improves evening calm and often sleep. The reason this works is simple. Attention follows tension. Reduce artificial tension and your attention returns to chosen work. Increase real closure and you feel lighter faster. It's not about perfection. It's about lowering background noise so you can direct focus on purpose. If you remember nothing else from this tactic, remember this line: leave on your terms. End sessions deliberately, capture what matters in your world, and close the app at a natural end point. Once you tame open loops, the novelty drip loses leverage, and that's the next layer we'll reshape.